All right, all you devils, how's it going? Sam here with you. It's Monday the 13th, and boy, we have some alts really starting to rip. This is really encouraging to see. Now, Link certainly getting a lot of attention right now. Now, we just looked at this against Bitcoin, so I thought we might take a peek at it relative to the dollar here and see if there's any opportunity in play at the moment. So it's we've just gone parabolic here after breaking out of this channel. So a couple things here. This is a bit, this whole kind of pattern here that's kind of taken a long time. It doesn't have great Elliott shape. This is a little bit cleaner down here than Bitcoin, but this is essentially what we're hoping to see from Bitcoin after the COVID sell-off and kind of this arcing. Jesus, do I have an arc? There is an arc tool here. This is what I'm. Oh shit! I don't want to do it. I want to do it the other way. Let's see if I can do it. Can I go this way? There we go. That's what I'm trying to do. So kind of this arcing, Bitcoin doing the same thing, right? It can't seem to get legs, shallow retracements, but now we get the pump. So this is the similar kind of thing that we're looking for in Bitcoin. But here, linked to the dollar, this is on Coinbase. I think there's a case here for this to have completed the one up here. It's a little skinny too, and of course it would be relatively shallow, in comparative context to the swing low to swing high. It's shallow, but then hard to ignore what follows. So certainly a case to be made for an impulse that may have just completed here. So you could make a case here for a 1, 2, 3. May not be in yet here, but we've got a case for a 3 here, and we'd be looking for the next opportunity. We got to just be patiently waiting here for the next trade and avoid the FOMO that makes you go, oh shit, I'm missing it. Listen, guys, if a true alt season is coming, that we are just warming up here. You're not missing anything. Well, sure, yeah, you missed the breakout here, but the others will follow, and we are still establishing a base here that we can work from. So if this is a 1, 2, and a 3, well, just a couple of things you might just right off the bat. Let's get that length of that 1 from this very shallow 2. Now we've just, right, so here's your prime zone for a third. We're just a little shy of it. Subdivision here, this looks like you've got a little triangle here that's gone in. So A, B, C, D, E. It's hard. Well, I know here I'm on an 8-hour here. It's hard to see the separation here, but it's very 4-ish. So 1, 2, looks like 3, 4. That may be our pivot, just shy of the 1, 6, 1, 8. Wouldn't be that unusual. So we'd be looking now for the next opportunity. Now, can we structure a trade from the pivot low here, if that's going to hold as our 2 and this is going to hold as our 3? Well, and anywhere down here, so this you could kind of wick this off. Anything in this range down here would be of interest. Just seeing, of course, that's a function of what kind of shape, right? Do we get a nice 3 that would set that up? Excuse me. So you'd have. Well, I wouldn't want to see it fall back into this channel, right? So you've got this trend line support here. You've got this structure here. So you don't want to see this coming all the way back down and challenging that. Now the potential would be for the impulse to start breaking down, and now you'd be perhaps revisiting this, thinking that you had your top here. So you might. Oh, let's see. Would that even work? So if you went from if this is here, no, it would work. So you could potentially be putting the 3 here, the 4 here, and the 5 here if we're going to have a deeper retracement. But I don't think we need to do that just yet. So let's get it back where it was. Right now, this looks like this is clearly, if we just went down and looked at the oscillator. Well, there's the RSI peak right here. Interesting, right? So then we get this pump up here, but we don't show the same strength. It looks like it's more of a double top in the Elliott oscillator. So right now, I think you hold here with this count, and you got to be patient now. It's frustrating, I know, but you want to be careful about buying the rip here, right? Don't let the FOMO get a hold of you here. So even here, just a little structure down on this 3 would put you in a nice little pocket here. This is our high probability zone for a 4. So anything in this range. Now look at the Vegas wave is way the hell down here. We've gotten so far from it. So, but just structurally, so if you look here, just from the low, if we just use our absolute low, well, look, what's there is the 50. So that's part of why I think there's a possibility here that we could be completing this here. Maybe, right? So if it's going to come down, and if it goes deeper here, then you're likely back here thinking, oh, okay, well, that now we'll we'll revisit that geometry here, but this would be the ideal. Like, so you'd have all the structure here, right? All of this structure here, this prior resistance. Well, boy, would that set up nicely, but you got to go with what's there, right? You can't. Right now, this looks more probable to be the third going in, so you don't want to get too far ahead of yourself. Just recognize that that is a contender as an alternate count here that could have us going up here. And shit, if it were to go up to something like this, well, then the golden zone would be down here. So, right, it doesn't. Trade what you see at the moment, right? Remember, an Elliott count is just a snapshot in time. It's just at this moment your best estimate as to what's going on here is that we've got our third going in here. Oh, let me rephrase that. My best estimate, right? You might see it differently, which is okay, right? So you don't have to agree with my count all the time, right? I'm never here to suggest that my count is the right count. It's a contender, right? It's a possibility. So looking here, if there's anything else, we don't have as much history here. Well, certainly against Coinbase. Well, you couldn't, right? You wouldn't want to ignore that pivot out here. So you get this, even these, you've got a really big base of structure down here, right? So any of this, so I might even do it this way, just put it all together and say anything in that area. If I get the opportunity to be a buyer in this zone right here, and call it $5. If you can get linked to the dollar at $5, I'm a buyer all day. Now, a lot has to happen here for that to play out, to bring it back down here. It could be, it could be we won't see $5 again, right? I know bulls are anticipating much higher prices here. So but boy, if you wanted to just have an area that you would at the very least have an alert on, I'd ping it, right? So I'd put it even a little bit further. So go ahead and do it right here. I would create that right here. So even if it comes down and gets close to it, I think we can get. I think we're just too steep here for any median lines to play. So just working with a traditional Elliott channel here, you don't have well, I suppose you could, right? You could probably do this and say, okay, I'm looking for the 4 down here, maybe some sort of an intersection here. It's getting a little gnarly when they go vertical like that. So anticipate that there will be some profit taking here. We're not likely to just continue going straight because the temptation for those that caught this will just be overwhelming to take that profit. So as any signs of weakness, you can expect some of those stops to get hit, which should drag it down a little bit. But where we're just kind of looking here, anything in this zone here, if you could get that, you can kind of do the same thing over here, right? Looking up here like that, looks like that might be an area for a bite if the 4-5 scenario is going to play. So then again, trying to reconstruct it. So 2 through the proposed 4. Now you're essentially bracketing, if I get this just right, you're bracketing the 3-4 here with this kind of a play and then using the channel. So if I can get this in a 3, so if we're starting on the A and we get that, so something like that right there, so 620-ish, right around that range, maybe a stop below that pivot at 560, anything like that, looking for the push up to get that 5th. Well, and if you can get it off of the 50, right, even though that's not a dominant, that's a secondary pivot as in relation to the Elliott count, I think that's valid. So this would be an area of interest for that potential play if you can get that get that to go. All right, now if it gets up there, right, again, let's just use the algo target. Let's bring it all the way back down to the low. This the low prior to going up. I still would like this, right? If that's going to come down deeper, so then you're looking for this, something like this. Take it that way. So absolutely, I think all of any alt trader's got his eyes on this, right? So understand that, right? A lot of people watching this, all of crypto is all over this, right? They're just loving this. But what is the average? I don't want to say this. the new, let me say it this way. So the new trader here sees this, right? Perhaps hasn't been around through all of alt winter. And just their tendency is to think this is just natural, it's just human nature, right? Oh, it's going. It's just going to keep going. Well, I'd like to think we know better than that, right? Now, while of course that's possible, you don't count on that, right? So you're now looking for opportunity. The other thing is here we're looking to buy an internal retracement, right? I've been really dwelling on that lately because I'm trying to just drill this in, right? So here's the swing. We want an internal retracement that goes external. So heads up on this. So it's a nice looking trade setting up, but be patient. Don't FOMO it. Just set some alerts. If it comes to you, great, take the trade. If it doesn't, well, then you wait, and you got to wait for the ABC if this impulse completes up here. Right, FOMO's a bitch, right? Especially when an alt is ripping here. There's no need to. It will. Retracements are inevitable. That's why everything, even Tesla is going to retrace it. Things retrace. So keep an eye on this though, but certainly alerts all over the place. Right? But you don't have to watch it all day, every day. All right, so then next thing, it's only 11 minutes in, so we're okay on time. So I'm back over here on Lunar Crush, and I'm still really liking this, and some good feedback from members on this. So I can't help but notice Tezos, right, is now number 1 on their alt rank, right? So remember, anytime we're looking at an alt rank, it's relative to Bitcoin. But that doesn't mean I wouldn't want to look at it relative to the dollar. So I thought we'd go over here and look. Yeah, let's start with it to Bitcoin. All right, so same kind of thing. We're getting this parabolic kind of action, which, of course, is why we love crypto. So there's a 30-minute here. Let me pull this back a little bit. Let's go back to a 3-hour here, so you can maybe we do it on an 8-hour, so you can see how technical this is trading. And let's reset here. So I'm just working from the absolute low. There's my absolute high. Well, so look at, right, so this, guys, you see this, right? So it's particularly once something starts rolling, right? It's just, yeah, of course, obviously there are traders in here, but what's driving it? Algo. So you go, oh, okay, well, there's a 50% retracement, big deal. That's nothing. What does that tell me? How does that verify that there are algorithms here driving this? Well, just out of coincidence, right? You tell me if it's coincidence. So from this pivot, here, let me take this off so you can see it a little better. Right, so from this low, up we go, we do golden zone. Right, golden zone. Right, so whether you're pulling from this, right, on the assumption that we completed something here, and this is an ABC, or well, at this point we'd have to do a WXY. Well, there you can see it pretty clearly. See WXY, right? So ABC, ABC, ABC. Right, so pretty clear WXY right into a double bottom. Now you could make the case that this is structure. Prior resistance becomes the support, right? Prior resistance before it gets rejected. I'm not mistaken, another golden zone, right? So golden zone, golden zone, golden zone, or you want to pull it from the high, 50, 50, right? It's, guys, right? It's just always the same. It's never different. Any time frame, any asset, it never changes until they change this algorithm. There you go, right? So where's the target? Right now, so how do we get here? Well, you know, this certainly looks like a 3, right? So you're kind of stuck with. So you'd have to. Oh, geez, it almost looks like you'd want to truncate the 5th here. You don't have a great Elliott count. You don't, right? I mean, can you wedge something in here? Yeah, you can wedge something in there. That just looks like a 3, and as I just showed you, it's technical, right? So good example of here. Well, you know, if the Elliott's not clear, that doesn't mean bail. You can still trade it, right? So Elliott, as you guys know, certainly any of you that have been through the belt system, Elliott is 3rd on the list of priority. It's algo swings first. What are the fib relationships? Then what about the geometry? Then and only then, if it's there and it's clear and it's so clear, it's so much in your face you can't miss it. Then the Elliott comes into play. Here, shit, I don't know, right? So 1, 2 looks like you could get a clean 5 in this. So it looks like 1, 2, 3-ish. That looks very 4-like. So are you working an ABC here? Well, it kind of looks that way, doesn't it? 1, 2. Well, that would be, yeah. So you can't even. So you'd have overlap here, and you might think, oh, diagonal into a truncated 5th, but that doesn't really play, right? Because you wouldn't want an impulse in your diagonal. well, I suppose you could do A, B, C, and failure on the C, but now you're making it more complicated than it needs to be. What you don't, if it's not like drop dead in your face obvious, okay, wait until it is. All right, so okay, we've got a technical pivot here. That's the one thing we can say with certainty, and we've got a target. So if it's going to get there, well, let's go down. Yeah, let's try the 30-minute. That's where I was fussing with it. Okay, so off of this 50 here, contender for the Y pivot low. You can get an impulse here. Looks like, oh god, it actually looks like it's another WXY because you go ABC, ABC, ABC. So you got another WXY there. Looks like, right? You got your Elliott hat on. So where there is Elliott and I can apply it and it makes sense, great. Okay, so that helps me as a contender for the. Yeah, let's take those down. For the second. All right, so if that's 1, 2, and I'm looking for my third up here, well, what's the first thing you're going to do? Well, you're going to measure it and say, okay, well, how far did we go? What does it look like? Where's the highest probability location for a wave 3? Literally, well, this one, it tags the 175, right? So we get one, so it looks like it's 1, 2, 3. Now, as soon as I see this, what's the first, right, what immediately do you want to do, right? Draw some median lines on it. So as soon as you see that, then I want to do that. All right, and it looks like, is that going to be golden? It's just going to be really close. So let's see here. So we get up to that pivot. And it looks like it just misses the golden zone. Yeah, just misses. So let's tighten it up. Ah, fuck. Let's get you tightened up here. Okay, so there's our Y. We're just shy of our golden zone. So we don't get a true golden corner, but pretty close. But do we get our 80%? Well, obviously, right? Obviously, from this corner, right? As long as it holds 80%, we get there. You get denied here. Right? It looks like it's going to be a straight shot to it, assuming I've got those, get those pivots tightened up here. Let's get everybody right on it. And this looks good, but let's just double check it. Get you right. Oh, if you change time frames, you will almost always have to do this. Okay, so let's pull back out here. So there now. Oh, that's interesting. So as I tighten it now, we've got just a couple of ticks through the the 175. So I've got a nice looking. It's a little skinny in here for a 1, 2, 3 relative to this 1, 2. Right. So this golden corner, we go 1, 2. I get denied the median the median line here, but we come to the lower parallel, then we get it right here. Right. So there's your 80%. Right. As I will continue to tell you, it's the best odds in trading, bar none. There is no better trade with a higher probability of success than the golden corner pocket. Right. Even though this is just a few ticks shy of it. Right. There's your 80%. Right, being realized, we after a little hesitation, remember trading principle number 3, if we're not going to pivot and make a reversal at the median line, it'll hover around it before deciding which, are we going back to the lower parallel? In this case, we rip right to and beyond the upper parallel. This is the 1, 5 here. So we get the throw over here. Is the 4 going in? Well, let's just take a look at that. So let's, here, I'm going to just hide that. Let's hide it and then break into this here. Let's look. I have to go 15 minutes. I think I might here. So this gets a little. So if you're looking at this 1, 2, that's probably technical as well. All right. So here's from this pivot 1, 2. There's 50. Jesus, damn near to the tick. Right. Maybe 1 or 2 ticks. There's your. Oh, Jesus. Right. So here's the shorthand for our third. We go right to that. So that's the negative 100. So it's not going to be right on the 1618, but it'll be very close since we pivot at the 50, not the golden zone. So it looks like you can go 1, 2. Now you have this errant wick down here, like something weird happened here. So but because it overlaps this, you can't put the 3 here because you'd be overlapping. So you got to go up the next pivot, and then you get that little triangle type of thing. It does look like it's. Right, so if we look here, this looks like this is very 4-like. So it looks like you can get a little triangle in there where you guys can see. You'll see it a little bit better on your own chart, or you can see that little triangle in there. And then up we go for the 5. Now that looks like a contender for the 3. But if we think about the correction, it looks like A, B, C. But that looks awfully. It doesn't take enough time. Right, so the time relationship, if you're comparing the 2 to the 4, right? So just even though that's not massive. Maybe, but it looks like more probable you'd have you might be on your way. Well, shit, that C may not be done, right? So this could be 1, 2. We could have a deeper C coming. So where would we be looking for? We're just standard ops here, right? So if that is our 3 correctly identified, and we've got an ABC going in here at the 38, well, despite how abruptly we get that perfect ABC, I'd be watching this, right? Is this 1, 2 at a smaller degree? Now I'm already down to the 15-minute. So I'd be more inclined to be looking for, something a little deeper here so it balances a little better and it has better. It doesn't say that it must do that, right? This could be the 4, certainly. Shit, you're down to the 5-minute now to try and make sense of that. Does that look like a start of an impulse? Maybe. I'll bet you it's technical. So let's see here. So if we work from this swing low to this pivot here, so we break here. That's not uncommon for the B. Let's get you. Bear with me a sec. Let's get this right on that pivot. So let's use our proposed B high to the C. So what do? Golden zone. Right? Do you see that? Right, same thing over and over and over. Right? So golden zone, but we're denied target. So target is down here right on the 50. So you can see that if this, well, shit, that could be a 1. Right? So let's just look at that. So you're kind of screwed here. So you've got 1. This would have to be if the 4 is in here. What are you doing here, right? The 1, 2, 1, 2 doesn't look great, does it? Really? And this is just wick down here. So I'd be a little hesitant here to be getting balls deep in this. I like it a little bit better down here. And you've got some of this. I don't like to see that kind of price action. Well, here you can see the 4 a little bit better as a contender before we go up for the 5. So if we're solid here, let's tighten this up. This makes me a little ill at ease here about I don't like that pattern. What are we doing? It doesn't look like we're starting. I mean, shit. Of course it could happen, right? So we could have. Oh, Jesus, 1, 2, 1, 2. I suppose that's possible here, but this looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, and this wick like the C has to go here. Right? Do you see what I'm looking at there? So it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm just going to call that a double bottom, even though we have this errant wick that gets through it. Right? I see it. Okay, I know. Chill, purists. I see it. All right. So there's the C right there, in my view. Okay. So 1, 2 makes more sense if indeed that's what we've got here. So that looks like a contender for a 1. So we break the golden zone, but we're not to the 7, 8, 6. So if this is trying to go 1, 2, well, you'd look for 3, 4, 5. Then you'd start to feel a little bit better about this. It's a little choppy down here. So I'd be same kind of thing. I'd be watching this, but I don't want to jump on it just out of FOMO. But there's a contender here for this to be a 1. So I'd certainly be watching this wick down here at the 38. Now again, because it's the 38 from the proposed 2. All right, let's get this up a degree. Oh, come here. Ah, shit. If that's 3, so this is the 4 we're after here. I'd be a little cautious here. So I'd rather see this show its hand, right? So if we're going to go up here and do this, well, we're not likely to put in the 5. Well, shit, I mean, it's possible, right? So you'd be looking for 1, 2. That's the one you want, right? This is a little shaky. You got the errant wick, and you've got, you've broken. So I'd be like maybe a little more if we hadn't broken the golden zone. I was thinking a little bit more technical. Not that that's a deal breaker on the candidate for the 2, but this just looks like it needs a little more time. Now, take note here, I'm all the way down to the 5-minute, which I rarely ever go below 15 if I'm trying to put a trade together, unless I'm trying to verify a count. But 3, 4, I mean, it's possible, right? So it's kind of trader's choice here. I wouldn't give that a lot of room below that 38. So maybe you take a swing at it with a tight stop, knowing, well, okay, I'm not going to blow my account up here. I wouldn't go heavy here on volume. You're just trying to get a piece of it, right? So can you get a little piece of it to start? If it starts to go, well, you'd be looking for an impulse well, wouldn't have to be, right? But you'd be looking for something to confirm I'm in a 3. So at the very least, you'd want to look for 100% if that little box is going to hold. So here would be the 1618, 4. If we're going to get up there for the 5, that's going to require a pretty good kick in the 5th, right? So nothing says we have to go up here, but I'd be watching here carefully, right? I like it a little bit better at the 50. But individual choice, right? So you certainly could take that with a very, very tight stop. So be cautious there, right? I just one to be watching, right? But again, there's absolutely no reason to FOMO into it, right? Lots of potential if we're legitimately going, and we come back to the 3 hour, right? There's lots of potential upside, right, to get back to where we came from, right? If right, again, because this is unclear as to how this is ultimately going to get labeled, and this just looks like a WXY into a double bottom. You know, you'd be from this 50, the target is up here. So this is not likely to be anything other than the start of something. So potentially you just have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 going. So one to be on your radar. Okay, let's before I wrap up here, because I didn't mean this to go so long. Let's look at it to the dollar, because I think this is a little bit cleaner. Okay, so let's go to an 8 hour here. Put it in perspective. Okay, so we have this massive. I mean, but you don't get them any more clearly carved out. Look at, so we get 5 down, 3 up, and then a free fall down. So you've got this lovely ABC. It doesn't really matter what came before it, right? Because we come down so low. But so I mean, I suppose you could make a case that this is a 1, 2. All right, so there's a 1, there's a 2, and we're just getting started. But again, it doesn't really matter to me at this point, right? If we're miles above it here, I'll come back here and do that labeling. But right now, I'm trying to make sense of what we have going on here. Now, this is a great example. This is almost identical to what you see in Bitcoin, in that you have this problem area in the beginning because the count is unclear. So you're kind of stuck here where you have to work backwards. So this being we got a W. Yeah, it wouldn't matter. Okay, so this being a 3 corrective here, and then coming off of this. So this being a candidate for the 4. Now, so how do I get to the 4? Well, I'm working backwards. So if this is ABC, one thing immediately I notice here is that this structure here is tested twice and it holds, right? So they double bottom here, but they don't tap this pivot. So right off the bat, you're thinking, oh, potentially it's a 4. So this 1, 2, 3, but that doesn't quite work. But it appears to be more structure than anything relative to the count. So we've done this with Bitcoin a couple of times. You got to look at where the impulses. Where I can get one right here off the low. I can get one right there. I can get one off of this low, right? If I'm right about it, there's one here. So from that pivot, I'm just going 1, 2, 3, 4. Extension is in the 5th. All right. It's not wacky, not that far out of line. All right. 1, 2, 3. 3 is longer than 1, so the extension is in the 5th. Not unreasonable. And then there's another one. There's another. Come here. Impulse to finish it right here, right? So there's in the third, in the extension of the 5th, there's another impulse. So I got one here, one here, one here, and then I get another one right here. All right, so these are my impulses. Now it looks like I'm on start of an impulse here, so I got to work backwards. So how can I construct this so that those impulses are all accounted for? Because you can't ignore an impulse. It's got to be related to something. Whoops, let's get you off of there. So all of these come off. So here's how I'm seeing it, and this is, right, Elliotticians are going to differ on this, right? It's much like my Bitcoin account, my Bitcoin account. Yeah, it's been trading like that. So I'm seeing here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exact same problem as Bitcoin. The time relationship between the 2 to the 4 is terribly off, right? I get it, guys, right? I can see it. So I can understand why people would be reluctant to pursue this count. I get it, right? But if you work through this, I'd be curious to see any alternates. So members, if you've got an alternate here that you prefer, I'd love to see it. The problem, it's just like Bitcoin. So what do you do with this bit right here, right? So we've got this and then this, right? So you got to call it something. You'd love it if this went a little deeper, right? So then you could eliminate, there's a possibility this is some sort of truncation relative to this. But possibility, yeah, maybe. Okay, if this is all done and we resolve this and this can't be the 4 because of what follows, okay, well then maybe we're back here revisiting this. But this still it's the same problem in Bitcoin. You got we got a retracement here. It's an internal retracement. So I have to account for it somewhere. So coming off of this pivot, I get an impulse. And then I get a 3-wave correction. Oh, pardon me. I get a 3-wave correction right here. So it's kind of gnarly, right? So 1, 2, 3. That gives me my 2 here, and then I get a 1, 2, right? It's close, but it doesn't overlap. So it's an internal retracement. I get an impulse, come down here. Now look, so I get another triangle, all right, here for my 4. All right, there. All right, so we don't overlap the 1. So whether it's here or here, so I know I've got a strong contender here for a 4, A, B, C, D, E for the 4, and then I finish with the extension, the 5. So I've got to go 1, 2, I got to account for this, right? So at that next degree, it's 1, 2, so at this degree, from the pivot where I'm starting that set of median lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know, the 1, 2, not ideal. Let's see here. Well, the 2 and the 4, I get it, right? Very, very off, right? So that if this count breaks down, that's why. That's why it'll break down, right? Because of that time relationship. We'll be back here revisiting this, how this gets labeled when we get the completion here, and we can work backwards from a completed impulse, assuming that's what we end up with. Right now, it's still very tradable. So from this pivot to this pivot, so let's look at that. So from the proposed 2 through the pivot of the proposed 3. So I'm using this, and then I'm using the lower pivot here to give, because the angle is better. Now I could, right, put it out here, right? But then the median line's already been hit. So your 80% is already realized, right? So I'm coming back 1 here, right, to accommodate then this. Well, so just looking at it, you might think to yourself something along those lines, but then there isn't. Oh, pardon me, there's a diagonal here, my bad, but excuse me, because I think I called this an impulse. So this is, well, if this is another triangle here, which it looks like it could be, then this would be the E, that would be the 1, but ideally you'd rather have no overlap like you do down here. So either way, I do think it's a contender for a 5 here than the ABC. So coming down here, of course, we've got our 80%, right? As long as that pivot holds, look at that. All right, so very tradable, right? So you can see the target like right coming at you. So again, I'm using the 2, right? So a little bit different here on how I'm working with the pivots, and it's kind of from experience, right? Just doing this a lot, right? So you could come down here. You could work off of the dominance, all right? So that's equally a contender here, but I just like the look of it here a little bit better off of the proposed 2, because this is a critical component of this count, is that that's a 2 and that this is my 3. So I want to catch this 3 here, 4, looking for that 5. So how are we looking here? Well, of course, looks like we've got a contender for an impulse. Let's go to a 30-minute here and we'll wrap it up. So from that, so if this is my 1, looks like you'd have to go WXY again. Let's get this tightened up. So 1, 2. Bring it back in here. All right, same thing, guys. Every impulse, every 5 gets this exact same treatment. Do the same thing every time. Okay, now this, we come up a little shy of the 1618. We're kind of in no man's land, but this looks like you'd have to go 1, 2. So contender, this may not be finished here. So if this is, come here. Let's get this up. If this is from this 2, we've got yet another 1, 2. Well, it looks like that could be 3, 4, and 5 would bring me up here to give me this third. Let me make that bigger here. Let's put it in white so we can see it. So you've got a nice contender up here for this 3 of the impulse that needs to be off of this 2. So that looks like a great 1, 2. Well, let's just measure it. Just out of curiosity. All right, I'm trying to wrap up. Here we go. So if that's the 1 and that's the 2, get you right on it. Oh, Jesus. So look, what do we do? Right, so 1, 2, where's the high probability zone for the 3? All right, 4, perhaps 5. Let's get that down a degree. And we'll put it in yellow here so it stands out. So there, look, right, do you see how it's 1, 2? Where are we looking for the 3? Right there. So is that the 4? Looks like maybe it's a contender. Right? It looks kind of skinny, but it certainly looks like a 3. So if I go down to a 15, A, B, C, or 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe an A wave going in via leading diagonal. It would be a little abrupt. It's the same thing. It would be a little bit shallow here. So this is just like what we were looking at relative to Bitcoin. Are we going to break this low? If we do, then I'm anticipating that. Yeah, let's come off of this. So let's wick every one. Right, always a good idea. I just do it out of habit now. 1 A, B, C into the 2. 1, 2 looks like 3, 4, 5 of the 3 at that degree gets us to that 175, 1618 box. So looking from the 2, if that 3 is in, which certainly looks like it is, well, what are we doing here? So we're sitting at the 38. Although this doesn't look like it's done, I might come down a little bit. Anything here to lean into on structure? Let's go back to an hourly. Well, yeah, I mean, so a lot of times I'll just do this. I'll just grab it and say, okay, all right, here's where I am now. All right, let's look left. What could be holding this up? Well, I'm not to the tick on anything. That's part of what makes me think this might have a little bit more to go if we're going to get a good 3. So if we're doing something like this, I'd like it a little bit better, right? So I mean, if you can get it just the way you like it, right, it's not a bad idea to wait for that. If you don't get just what you want, right, wait until you do. There's no reason it's just because it's moving, I got to trade it. Well, certainly this would be in contender as some potential structure here, a little bit below the 50. And I suppose you make the same case for several of these. That looks like you'd be right below the golden zone relative to this 2. Get it right on that. All right, so all very encouraging signs. If that's going up there, maybe. If that's 3, 4, 5. All right, so you lay out a roadmap like that. Any of this area down here, so I wouldn't be swinging for the fence here. You're just trying to complete at a smaller degree. So the whole thing is tied back to where are we in the larger count. So this looks like what we're trying to do is complete the 5th. So fully done. We'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you're looking for A, B, C. So to put it all together, if we finish there and we finish there. Okay, so here the next major buying opportunity, if we get the opportunity to buy it down here, would be coming off of completion here, assuming we get that median line, which is 80% odds we will. 1, 2, 3, buy it all day long. All right, guys, there we go. That's probably more than I needed to give you, but it's been off for a few days moving. So there you go. That sort of catch you up and gets you a few good things. Keep an eye over here. This is really turning out to be an interesting site. All right, you want to see volume. Like I looked at ERD. I was not unfamiliar with this, but to get number 2 on their ranking, pretty good. So keep an eye on that one. I didn't like it didn't look like it had enough volume just yet, but that's one to take note of here. All right, so there you go. Chew into that, and right, as always, members, right, if you have questions about anything, just shoot me a DM. If you're watching up on YouTube, well, don't forget, you can always join us for free. Get started on that white belt. We had a lot of people last week get started on the white belt, so remember that's entirely free to you. It's a good way to come in and sample some of the educational content and get a feel for the community. So I'll leave you with an open invitation to come over there and join us. And with that, I'll talk to you guys later. See you tomorrow.